My name is Rick Stattler. I'm the director of the book department here at Swann Auction Galleries and also the Americana specialist. I'm holding in my hands a previously unknown 7th edition of the Bay Psalm book. The first edition of the Bay Psalm book was printed in 1640, the first book printed in America, an extremely important book, even beyond its importance in printing history. It was an important step in the formation of the Puritan colony in Massachusetts. They were uncomfortable with existing translations of the Psalms, so they created their own, and that was their first venture into printing in America. Copies of the first edition of the Bay Psalm book are extremely scarce, show up very infrequently on the market. Only 2 copies have appeared at auction in the last century, one of them in the 1940s and another just recently in 2013, which sold for in excess of $14 million, the highest price ever paid for a printed book at auction. There are a couple of other very early editions. There was one in 1651. Those are even scarcer than the first edition. And then after that, they decided it would be easier to have them just printed in England. And so for several decades, they were actually printed in England. They've long been aware of a 7th edition printed in London in 1694. And there was an 8th edition printed in Boston in 1695. So that makes it seem pretty straightforward that they had brought back the printing to the colonies in 1695 with that 8th edition. So we were very surprised to find this, a 7th edition printed in Boston in 1693. This copy also has an interesting provenance. It was originally owned by Jonathan Corwin, who was one of the judges in the Salem witch trials. And he acquired it shortly after its publication and very shortly after the trials, which were in 1692. The book passed through several different families in the 18th century, and eventually it was acquired in the late 19th century by a family in western New York. They were descendants of a victim of the Salem witch trials, John Proctor. We think that's probably why they acquired it. It was possibly given to them as a gift, knowing the family connection. So the family acquired this book, and since then it's been known in the family as the Witch Book.